like I said, like I didn't think I was like a loser, right? So I didn't think that because I wanted to skateboard or write graffiti that I was a loser, even though that's what society was trying to tell people, like you're wasting your time. I was just like, I'm not a fucking loser. Like I've seen losers. Like I'm not a loser, right? So, and thank you to my parents for that, right? For instilling that self confidence, right? And school also, like I was like, I'm definitely one of the smart. I'm not a loser. I'm just not a loser. So the value wasn't in necessarily the graffiti writing. The value was in me, right? So which I clearly saw as day. So I'm like, well, right, I'm not like it wasn't like clear like, oh, like if you don't show your face, like you'll I was just like, dude, like I'd already like maybe done some modeling for certain people, like maybe for A Life, or like I knew a lot of photographers. Half the people I knew were photographers, and they're like, yo, do this thing, like be in this thing. And so it's like I'm trying to bring it all together, right? I'm trying to bring all the things together. It's all me, right? I don't know how, like, what value there is in like hiding from everybody that I write graffiti. Like, that's actually dope, right? Again, Espo, Reese, Futura, like Twist, like people know who they are. Like it doesn't have to be cover your face like all the time. Like so, and because I didn't have the actual outcome answer like ending to anything, but I'm like, this doesn't make sense to me, and it's not like I don't have to do what everybody else is doing. I just don't. Like it's dumb. Yes, there will be drawback because documentary, and I want people to see it. I want it to get out there, so that means the cops might see it, and like, okay, we'll cross that bridge when it gets to it. I'm not plotting to like run airplanes into buildings. It's just graffiti, like whatever. We'll see what happens. And I did get caught. I knew when it happened, I was like, oh, that's right. I didn't want to cover my face. Okay. And they were like, oh, can we come to your house and can we Doug Prey was like, can we like go to A Life? And I'm like, sure. Like somehow like there's value in all of this and expose like not exposing, but like sharing, right? Like the reality, not like oversharing like internet, like, hey guys, look at me in the hospital, but like this is the reality of the situation, right? This is like, there was something there, like the honesty about it was like where the value was for me. So it was more about that, more about being honest. Like, yeah, it's illegal, but like I'm not a bad person, and I know I'm not a bad person, and like, there has been something done for me by other people that tells me that this is okay.
Yeah.
Right. Even though the cops may not like it or society may say no or something, and the laws or whatever, I know better. My moral compass is like not off here. This will eventually be a net positive, even though right now in the short term, that's like the only thing I had foresight with. Really, it was like, no, like the value is in me. Like whatever, it'll all work out.
Yeah, like it's better to actually show your face for that reason. Eventually, like somehow the things will pan out, and like,
I mean, we're sitting here now 20 years later, but back then it was just like, if you can imagine not knowing that, everyone continuing to hide their face, like not just from the cops, but from other graffiti writers, right? It's violent, right? Like, there's beef, and like some graffiti writers sold drugs and like did illegal shit. And it was just like other shit other than graffiti. That was like the mild thing that they did. So it was just like, people didn't, and it was New York. You just didn't want people knowing who you were. But again, was around people who were different, and I felt like things were going like that. There can be a different sort of life, right? It doesn't exist here now, but I can see it existing. Like I can, I'm moving toward that. I can make it, kind of thing. I can make the life that I want. I realized when they arrested me that they didn't give a shit, right? It wasn't like, Vandal Squad is like, Vandal Squad are kind of like, they were kind of like fans of graffiti. You kind of have to be rolling around, looking at graffiti, being like, oh shit, fucking Remo's around here right now. You know what I mean? Like, they're fans, right? So, and they would actually try to get people to hit their black books and stuff when they were, like, it's like, they're grown up dude. They're like, cops are like, whatever. Like, who said this? I forget, but I want to quote people and sound smart. Anyway, it's hard to be a good cop because the institution of policing is fucked up, but there are good people who are cops, right? Like Jerry, right, is a nice guy, but when he's like being a cop, he has to like go along with like, the gang mentality or whatever. So like cops are like just generally like, they're just people, right? So like the Vandal Squad was just like a bunch of dudes, right? Who got to like fucking like, fuck with graffiti writers for a living. They did not care. Like they didn't give a shit. They just don't care, right? Because they're kind of a joke within the police department because murders and like babies and microwaves and stuff. And it's like graffiti, like what? Like you guys, come on. Like, and that's so it's kind of like they're like graffiti writers in the police thing, so, and within the police department, kind of feel sorry for them a little bit. So, I realized that like, you're evaluating the entire thing as the arrest is happening and like, you're in the precinct and they're interviewing you and then you're doing court. I'm evaluating the whole thing for what it is. And I'm like, nobody really cares. This is not like a big deal. Right. Like I can see where graffiti I could imagine like graffiti not even being illegal someday, or like they're giving me like a key to the city, like, some sort of like card where it's like they put my name up or something, my photo in all the precincts. He's allowed to write graffiti. He's like key to the city kind of guy. Like that's like where my head goes with it. Like it's a net positive. Trust. This is not as bad as they want you to think it is. The broken windows thing doesn't apply with graffiti. As you can tell now, because murals are like, oh, that means it's popping. You know what I mean? Opposite of broken windows effect. So like, whatever, like when I wrote graffiti after I got caught, it was like, hey, I'm going to do me. I like writing graffiti. I like being bad. I like tagging on shit. It's fun. I'm addicted to it. It's great. Like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. The self-preservation part was, I'm not up enough. Okay, so there are people who go after it, LeBron James style, Beyonce, Jay-Z style graffiti, right? Like, I'm going to be graffiti, right? There are those people. Just like with skateboarding, there are people who fucking crush it and go after it, like Nigel, right? Like, okay, like enough, dude. Like, we get it. You're good, right? And then it's like, they want to like crush you with their skill. Or maybe they're just like really that good. But like I fantasize about myself like crushing people with my success. I'm going to be like the best here. And it's just like, okay, dial it back, dude. Like just have some yogurt and chill out, like just do the next 5 minutes, the next 5 hours, like go to sleep, like brush your teeth, wait, like just chill. So there are people who are like that in graph, right? And it's like, yeah, if you're like out there trying to like be frontman on Front Street with graffiti, like, and like, maybe that was never my thing. Again, the value isn't in the actual graffiti. The value is in me, right? I can make the one tag that I have seem more than the 30 fill-ins this other guy has. I already know that's an equation that you have to be able to figure out. How do you make your tag worth more than his fill-in? That's a thing. Right? If Futura takes a tag somewhere, if Cost takes a tag somewhere, it's worth more than like all of the, I don't want to name a graffiti writer because, whatever, but like pick your graffiti writer who just does graffiti, right? Like your fill-ins don't mean anything to this one tag that people, like Banksy, there you go. People will come and like take a picture of a Banksy thing from other countries and not give a shit about your fucking fill-in, right? Are you maybe you don't do graffiti good in that case, right? Because he's figured something out that you know what I mean? It's like whatever. Graffiti purists are like, no, but I just do graffiti. It's like, okay, cool, but still, like, great. Like, have fun with that. Let me know how that works out for you.